But to tell me I came out with DeAndre Swift over Bijan,
where Jordan Davis just, still play the same. Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? It's Inside the Nest, another episode. I'm with my co-host Smitty. What's going on, bro?
I'm chilling, man. I'm feeling very appreciative right now of the GOAT we got in the building, Joeyshakes. How you feeling, Joey?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys. I kind of got the days mixed up. I'm all over the place this week, but I'm glad to join you guys, meet you guys for the first time. I've been in the chats here and there when you guys are streaming, but I haven't actually been on the show with you guys, so I appreciate it so much.
Oh man, we appreciate you. I guess we can start how you feel about the first 8 weeks of the season. I mean, I know it was up and down. It was a roller coaster. But I mean, what do you feel about those first 8?
I mean, I think it's been a building progress. I think it really started out in the offseason where, you went to the offseason this year from, last year with 2 new coordinators and how the offseason program was going and not really knowing what to expect. I mean, for me, at least, I didn't think we were going to have a big problem with Brian Johnson. I think I had more eyes on Sean Desai this past offseason, but I think with the lack of, when Nick values the joint practices more than the preseason games, because I think with joint practices, you are limited to doing things. And, I think not enough time. Even some of the older guys haven't played really in training camp. They didn't play since the Super Bowl last year. And, there's just a lot of moving pieces that, I don't think the Eagles gelled too much this offseason, which I think the first 3 games we had this year were we had to gel in some way. I felt like those were our preseason games in live action. You know what I mean? So, it's been a building process with the play calling. I think both coordinators have gotten better. Obviously we still have our pieces of information from the coaching staff and how they're using certain players, whether it's substitutions or at a certain position or how we play a certain way. But the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, dealing with the injury and all that stuff like that. I feel like he's, they forced him to be more of a pocket guy and not take the unnecessary hits. So I understand that. I think he's played fantastic this year. I think from a building process, the coaching staff is we've beaten the teams that we needed to beat. I think the one loss against the Jets, so I think we overlooked them. I think we sat out way too many guys. There probably were guys that could have played. I think they were just extra cautious. But we've taken leads. We played in bad weather. We've beaten the team in overtime. I mean, we've had some really good character building wins. It's not about going out in style, scoring 30 plus, 40 plus points, but I think they're fighting every single week. It's a resilient team. And I think they're playing a lot better now, but we're only through a little bit half of the season now. So still a lot more to go.
I think we're going to be really blessed with this bye week coming right after this game. I think we really need it. I think the first 8 weeks for me, right? I was a little bit opposite than you, Joey. I was a little bit more looking at Brian Johnson than I was Sean Desai, just because of you were here, you kind of were in the room. You have a connection with Jalen Hurts. You shouldn't miss a beat. I was in that realm. In the offseason, though, I felt like Sean Desai got the pieces he needed to be equivalently better than Jonathan Gannon. Because people are like Hargrave left. So then you trade Hargrave for Jalen Carter. You bring in a Nolan Smith. You get a Sidney Brown. And now you've brought in Kevin Byard. You Bradley Roby. And then the young guys, Eli Ricks, Keely Ringo, he has a lot to work with, but it's also like building a house. You got to start with the foundation. You got to build them up. I'm more in the bag now. Like if Brian Johnson can get it consistent, he's been running a great offense. But when he get inside the 20, he kind of makes me cry. The first 80 yards is like yes, and then we get to the 20, I'm like, please get in the end zone, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think, that's been the big issue. I mean, they're ranked 26, 27. I don't know. It's pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. So I mean, I talk about the running back position every single week, and I'm just getting tired of it at this point. And I know a lot of people were like, "Let's trade for a running back," and I'm saying to myself, "Well, if they can't, I feel like we have the pieces there. It's just they don't use it. Like Kenneth Gainwell, I'm really off board right now. I'm not even because really at the end of the day, like Kenneth Gainwell goes to another roster. He won't even be a rotational guy. I mean, really at the end, like Miles Sanders got beat out like by Hubbard. Like he's averaging 3.1 yards and he's been injury prone. And this is a running back's dream to play behind this offensive line. And DeAndre Swift, and I understand you got to keep him healthy this year. Okay, I think all-purpose yards will have 1,000 this year, easy. He's just a dual threat back, but we get inside 20s, it's a problem. Like first it was Jalen Hurts was just way too many run design, QB runs, beginning of the season, which he got hit way too much, early in the season. Let the offense kind of work around you right now. So I'm figuring, they got Julio Jones now, had his first red zone touchdown. So I think there's some good things coming out of it, but it's just not good enough. I feel like if you're at a crucial third down or something like that, or you're in red zone, I feel like they just used the wrong back. And why is Rashad Penny still not?
I was just going to ask you that.
Why is Nick still defending Gainwell every single week? Like he defended him yesterday, like yet again. Like, even last week he did the same thing. He was like, AJ Brown had a few fumbles. Did I take him out of the game? Did I switch guys? Jalen Hurts threw some picks. Did I take? Yeah, but the difference is those guys have a lot of skill, man. It's not. I understand that as a coach, like press conferences, you don't throw players under the bus. Like I get it. Like what we hear, we're gonna get pissed off. But at the end of the day, like really behind the scenes, like you start playing favorites, this can go a different way. And the red zone has got to get better, and this running back core has got to get moving, and it's just not working.
Joey, me and KingDv been having that conversation for 8 weeks or 7 weeks because he had 3 carries in 1 week. 7 weeks, we've been like, why is Rashad Penny a healthy scratch and Kenny Gainwell ain't doing nothing? Like you tried to give him 14 carries a game the first 3 games. It did not work. Now he's down to like 5 carries a game and it's still not helping you. Like get him off the field.
I feel like that they have some type of loyalty, to Kenneth Gainwell, but what kind of loyalty do you really have if you brought these 2 guys in the offseason? Rashad Penny, I watch Joey every morning. Shout out to you. And you talk about Rashad. Yeah, you talk about Rashad Penny all the time. And I'm like, I don't understand why we signed him and just have him as a healthy scratch. This guy was on the podium and basically said that he wanted to play all 17 games. He felt like he could do that. Let him display that, and you're not allowing him to do that. And in the preseason games, he wasn't very great at pass block, so everybody put Kenneth Gainwell over him on pass block. But he's great north to south. He can break tackles behind this line. Who knows? We wanted to see this. We got these 2 guys. I think Kenneth Gainwell should be our bulk culture. Like he should be that third back, that we had in the Super Bowl in 17 or 18, I should say. I think he should be that. I don't think he should be the RB2. He's not that type of guy that can actually be the yang to a DeAndre Swift type. But you don't want to run DeAndre Swift in a hole either. I just think that he needs to be more available. Throughout this 8 weeks, it was more so that I knew it was going to be character building on both sides of the ball. We had injuries especially on the defensive side, and Sean Desai did a great job, in my opinion, just putting everything together, putting some wins together, putting, when it matters. Was it always pretty? No, it wasn't always pretty. But at the end of the day, I feel like that he really, really, really deserved kudos for what, working with what he had, rotational corner, not corner, nickel cornerbacks. The injuries to Justin Evans, guys like that. I feel like that, they really people really stepped up, like Sidney Brown stepped up, the linebacker stepped up, especially with Nakobe Dean being down. I did have questions about Brian Johnson, but just outside looking in, I felt like that Nick Sirianni actually has a hand in that offensive play calling as well. So you can't really put all the blame on Brian Johnson on certain things, especially in the red zone. I think that Nick Sirianni got some type of blame for it. Just utilizing Jalen Hurts too much, whereas though that it took for him to get injured to sit up there and say, okay, well, we're not going to run him often. We're going to sit up there and have him in the pocket. It's working for us now, but what happens when we sit up there and play a great defense that can get to Jalen Hurts, do our offensive line that we honor so much. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to be mindful of who's calling the plays, and then also just basically, what plays we are calling, especially in the red zone. The red zone, we were almost dead to last. I think we moved up to 20 or 19 or something like that. So we really got to get better there. But overall, I just think that it was just character building this first half of the season. Honestly, that's all you can say because we went in football games. Besides the Jets game that I'm still a little frustrated about, but at the same time, it is what it is. I think that loss actually helped us.
Well,
At the end of the
I'll
Agreed.
apologize now, right? I'll because I did a show without you, DV. Remember, I did the prediction show. I told them on there we was gonna lose to the Jets or the Rams. I was like, it's gonna be one of those two games. I don't know which one. We're gonna lose one of them. And they were like, why? I was like, that's just the Eagles. Like, we do that every year. We get a game, it's damn near a guaranteed win. We go, we play with the team like they not good, and then we take a L. Commanders last year, the Super Bowl year, I can't remember who it was. It was a sorry team Super Bowl year too. I think we lost to. I had to look at it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I said it. So I apologize that we took that loss. So, but people are asking about Bradbury. So DV, if you want to continue into what you was doing and bring up how you feel about Bradbury and his play.
So as every Eagles fan, content creator, you get frustrated with Bradbury because it's like, yo, we paid you this money and now you're not even playing up to the standard that you were last season. I felt like, some plays that he was out of place, and then other plays it was just like all on him. Majority of the time it's all on him. But I got faith and hope that he would actually, get it together because they're not going to trade him, and they're not going to let him go in the off season or anything like that because they paid him this money. That would be bad business move at the end of the day. But he has to step it up, and it got to start this game. Honestly, that's where I'm at with it. This is a division rival, probably one of the best teams in the NFC. Besides us in San Fran, and we got to step it up here. We got to play better. Just like Darius Slade tweeted out, we'll be better. It has to show on the field. Talking is talking or tweeting is tweeting. At the end of the day, got to be on the field. And with Bradbury, he's getting beat with double moves. He's getting beat just letting guys run up the middle to the point where he can't keep up with a Terry McLaurin. He's getting beat on double moves. Puka Nacua basically got over on him, scored a touchdown against the Rams just off the top of the head. And I don't know, like Bradbury needs to, step it up. He really does. I can say the same thing about Slay, but Slay did have an interception against Miami. Slay did do some type of certain plays, like Terry McLaurin, dropping that pass that could have been a first down. He's making plays. Yeah, every corner in the league gets beat, but at the end of the day, Slay makes up for it. Whereas though Bradbury is, he's playing, he's the weak link right now. Out of the outside cornerback. So I feel like Bradbury needs to step it up, and I think he will, at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I as much as I don't like the bend don't break defense, and I haven't really been a big fan of it this year, but even in the recent games, I think with Sean Desai really started to grow on me. I think it was like the second half of the Rams game where they really started to settle down a little bit, and his adjustments have been really good. Like you'll go into a Miami game against a track star offense and just defend really well. Like not, when these, speed guys are getting the ball in open space, you're not automatically tackling. You're kind of like containing, and then tackling. And then you go into these Washington games and they're just like, Washington just has our number. Like, I just don't get like they just fall apart. I mean, you're against Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all these other guys, and they played better against them than they did against, and Terry's a great player. Don't get me wrong. And Logan Thomas and some of these other guys, Curtis Samuel and some of these other guys. But the thing that pisses me off the most just about the cornerbacks in general, I think it's like when they start to make the adjustments when they're going to play press, when they got safety help, it's like, what's the point of playing press if you're not getting your hands on at least a push, at least something like, coming off the line, like what's the point? Like, I'd rather you be 10 yards back if you're not going to touch them. If you're pressed, I mean, if you're playing press, like what's the point of playing press? At least get like what Eli Ricks did. I forgot what game. I don't know if it was the Rams game. I forgot what it was. No, obviously the Miami Dolphins game, got hands on Tyreek Hill, slow, disrupted his route and then like got the deflection. Like, I think that's what they got to do. They have to make up for it, and I think just letting guys off the line free-handedly when you're close up, you're just asking to get beat. And especially when you didn't have like great, the safety's eyes, looking wherever he's looking. And then, I mean, it was just horrible. So hopefully with Kevin Byard here now, nobody even last game. I mean, no one played well. I mean, really, everyone got burned. Everybody did. There wasn't one guy that really played that great in the secondary. Defensive line was good and did whatever they, if you can't get a pass rush, it's got to go hand in hand. Like there's got to be the great coverage and get you turnovers or sacks in the backfield. It's less work when your defensive line's getting a lot of pressure and your secondary will won't have to do too much. But it's been up and down, but just some games it's just they're trending up, and then some games they just fall apart like defensively. And Bradbury is just not being used the way he should be as a bigger type corner. I think flirting with him playing at the nickel spot was probably one of the worst ideas. I know they tried to, and we really haven't had a secondary that was complacent. Like we haven't had the secondary like with the same guys every week. I felt like it's been every single week. It's been different guys between the injuries, what's going on. Like it's been like that. Even when just remember like when Chauncey got here last year, like it took him like 4 games to like, everyone was bitching about Kevin Byard not doing anything. After like, dude, he just got here. Like we expect Sidney Brown, like Sidney Brown's getting cross-trained to nickel, which is great. So I always thought he was a great hybrid player because really before the draft this past season, like, Hargrave was the big loss. And then really now that's not the issue. Like I think Chauncey was the biggest loss because of being that hybrid player that he is, that he could move to nickel, he could play corner, he could play safety. So going into the season, we didn't have that. So when we lost somebody, Justin Evans has been hurt every single year of his career since 2017. So that guy can't stay healthy. But not me knowing going to this Cowboys game this week and with this bye week next week, I feel a little bit better that like we should be a lot more healthy and hopefully, the injuries don't pile up this week where it's too serious. Knock on wood, but I think that with the bye week coming up, it's really going to help, and hopefully the secondary we have the same guys because there were some plays even last week where Slay is moved up like maybe 3 yards in front of the receiver, and like he lets the guy go by him, and then he points to like. It's like I don't get how even another play I saw Slay like 10 yards off the ball. And how are you supposed to react to a break of a route? Like, I don't get how, like, I don't care if you got prime Patrick Peterson in there. No cornerback is making that play. No, you're sitting still when the guy's coming 100% at you, just running at you, and you have to react with no speed. It's an impossible matchup. That's why the defense, I can't stand it sometimes. But can the Eagles actually win a Super Bowl this year playing like with this type of defense? Like and if they can, that's great. You're gonna depend too much on the pass rush, and that's fine because the Eagles have a lot of artillery there. You didn't have Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter in that second half, and the Eagles still got it done. And Milton Williams, I thought, played well. And Hassan Reddick now is starting to get streaky now. So now he's really starting to be relentless now. Josh Sweat's been great, so Nolan Smith, I think with the street trade now, I think Nolan Smith should hopefully get more snaps depending on how his shoulder is. I know he hasn't been healthy all year, really, since the offseason. He had like the shoulder brace thing, whatever. So I don't know how healthy he is. But the defense is coming up, but sometimes they just, like last game, I thought they just fell apart. And then you have to really rely on certain players, and the pass rush only comes in at the right time. It always comes in at the right time. Reed Blankenship had a really bad game, but he came up with that pick. You know what I mean? So it's just what's happening right now, and hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, I've been frustrated with James Bradbury, but I've been watching a little tape, right? And it looks like they RPOing him. They pretty much doing the RPO. They're staring him down. He's in the backfield. And then the cornerbacks are doing like slight moves. So they're like step inside, keep going straight. They might pretend they're going to come back on the comeback route, keep going up the field. So it's like he's doing too much. Like your job is the guy in front of you. Watch him. Like that's who you need to control. That's who you need to follow. He's coming in your zone. The Terry McLaurin touchdown. Like he's looking at Robinson so hard, he doesn't even realize McLaurin is coming at him until it's like too late. And then he's trying to react. He's like, oh man, he right here.
Yeah.
So it's like he doing too much. Last year, he was the top rated corner in zone, right? So it was I just don't understand the 10 yards like Joey. Like, what can you do from 10 yards out? All I gotta do is run slants, bubble screens. I could run drag routes. I can get away from you 10 yards out. And especially if I'm throwing it quick and I got blockers, you 10 yards out, that's pretty much like a 7-yard gain, even if you make the tackle.
Yeah, there's no defense that plays like this. It's the most off ball. I mean, there was like 1 week, I think it was like a week or two ago, where I just watched like every game in one day just to see if like teams actually do this. And nobody does this. So, you don't want to give up the big play. Like if it's like 3rd and 18, 3rd and 25, whatever the case, all right, that's fine. Like for certain, you're going against Tyreek Hill. I get it. Like you have to play off ball like that. You have to give the respect like 10 yards off the ball. It just has to happen. But when it's the whole entire game, like you're just you're putting more strain on the offense. Then we have to like put more pressure on the offense, get more points on the board. Like I can't give up a field goal every time. I can't, even if it's just a field goal every time. So it does get annoying, and hopefully, I don't like it. I don't like the defense. So when it comes to like the scheme, I've always couldn't stand it since 2 years ago. So
are the Dolphins running the same type of scheme? They look like they played us kind of the same way.
Yeah, I think
maybe a little closer. They wasn't like 10 yards off. They were like 6.
Yeah, no, it's not as. Yeah, they play because it's Fangio. Because really, that's where Desai learned from as a quality control guy under Fangio for a few years with the Bears. I mean, really, it came down to when Sean Desai became the Bears, the DC in 21, like night and day talent from that roster to this roster. But he was a top 10 against the pass. He was top 5 in sacks. He was bottom 10 against the run, which is definitely an upgrade this year. Definitely. So, you have a good roster, and I feel like with some players, I think with this secondary, like it always makes me nervous when a quarterback has too much time, even a little bit of time. Like even Sam Howell, if he had like a little, like I'm talking a good second half of time, I feel like there was always a wide open guy. Like we didn't really contest anything. They were draping all over us, and we couldn't contest anything within 3 yards of a receiver or tight end. It was really annoying. Like AJ Brown, thank God, every week it's just it's crazy right now. And I hope the defense plays better. I know we have the pass rush. I get it, but I think we're definitely playing too far off the ball at times. It's just, not putting your hands on is a problem for me. Like, what are you getting paid for? Like, don't even have Bradbury and Slay on the field. I'd rather have Eli Ricks out there at this point if you're just going to, and Josh Jobe out there if you're just going to, like, why you get paid? Like, what's the point of you getting paid if you're just going to, you're going to go up, you're going to play press, and then, like, they're just, like, going back, like, immediately. It's just like, I don't get the whole thing.
Really killed me. It was a play, right, with Bradbury. I thought he was finna press, right? I see him at the line, and then I see Nolan Smith is next to him playing like he's playing linebacker. He slides in. So I see the blitz coming. I'm like, okay, they sending Nolan. Right before they hike the ball, I see like James Bradbury like getting out of there. I'm like, what are you doing? and they went right there. They went right there with the pass. Right, they ran a slant. Cause soon as he backed up, Sam Howell looked over. He looked at Terry. He did something like this, and Terry, I'm assuming, changed his route, ran a slant, and they threw it right behind Nolan Smith. And I'm like,
Yep.
I know.
I think it's more so about the pass rush. You got to get to the quarterback. The Commanders came into that game having 40 sacks on the season. There's no reason, and I'm happy that the one sack that we did get, it was accounted for and changed the game to the point where we was able to get out of there with the win. And that's crazy to say that with the Commanders, we were able to get out of there with the win off of a Hassan Reddick sack, a strip sack at that. But I'm on record, even last year, I think that our secondary played as good as our front line. And if the front line is not getting home, then the secondary is going to have to work. And I don't think we're built for that. Bradbury and Slade, they're so slow that are slower because they're older, to the point where they play them off just to be safe. And they play so conservative. And at times it's frustrating because you want them to, get back to playing man-to-man, play a little bit physical, because Bradbury does play or used to play physical. I don't know what he's doing this season. I know Bradley Roby, he does play man-to-man. And I know that
when is he coming back? Anybody know what's going on with him?
Ooh.
No, he's not going to come back. He's not coming back this week.
No,
I'll tell you that. I would say his best chance is probably Kansas City, maybe Buffalo.
Is the injury that I thought it was? They told me week to week, and then it's been like 3 weeks. So,
yeah, if it's week to week, it's going to be 2 or more weeks, probably.
Yeah, it should have been like an IR thing. Honestly, I don't know what they're doing, but look, we ain't got no choice but to respect it and trust it. Make sure that our guys is ready to go, especially in this next couple games after the bye. But anyway, I just think that Sean Desai got to put these guys in the right situations. Honestly,
Mike said he's coming back this week.
I don't know.
He didn't practice. That's like that's not good.
Well, it was a walkthrough, so hopefully we'll see tomorrow. But I just think Sean Desai, the best he's been playing so far, I feel like that he kind of like catfished us, because he was saying that he wanted the teams to fill Philadelphia and wanted them to fill our defense. And I don't feel like that was a thing. Like, he had a couple games, like the Rams game and of course the Dolphins game, but I don't think that was a thing with Sean Desai. Overall, he did the best what he had, but I'm expecting a lot more from this defense. I'm really expecting them getting to the quarterback, getting turnovers, teams fearing going against the Eagles. Instead, they're attacking the middle. They're sitting up there, basically double teaming Hassan Reddick at times, and then when Hassan Reddick is loose, then they getting the ball out quickly. You got to do something to combat that, because that's what all the teams were doing, especially since the Patriots game. They've been getting the ball out quickly, and we've been having until like the end of the game where everybody's tired now. So now we're getting those sacks. I think that we need to, pick it up, scheme a little bit more, talk to Stoutland, see what we could do better, to try to get to the quarterback before he released the ball to a running back or a quick slant, things like that, because that's what's killing us. I just think that the defense will get better. I'm just waiting to see everybody healthy. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting to see everybody
okay
healthy.
With Sidney Brown? Is everybody okay with Sidney Brown in the slot?
There's not enough time. He hasn't. There's a lot of guys have not had enough time. He has not had enough time at the nickel spot. Not enough time.
No.
That's the problem. A lot of guys. There's too many different there's too many pieces being moved around this season because of injuries. So you don't have a set like consistent guys with communication. It changes every single week. Hopefully with Kevin Byard here now, Reed stays healthy, and then that nickel spot. Until Roby comes back. If he comes back this week, I don't know. Certain packages they could put a couple guys in.
They already said it. They already came out and said Eli Ricks will be in the traditional package and Sidney Brown will play the heavy nickel package.
Could be right.
Jeff Kerr posted it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ricks, see, it seems like they're unsure about like who should be in certain situations at nickel right now. I know they love Bradley Roby, but as of right now, like in certain situations, we got some good guys that could be in the nickel, but you got to get the experience and you got to get the snap count to be able to go out there and produce. I felt like in the Buccaneers game, I felt like Sidney Brown produced. In the Dolphins game, I felt like Sidney Brown produced. But how much time would you give Sidney Brown to be in a nickel for them to say, hey, this guy needs to be our starter?
I'll let Joey go.
I mean, it depends. Kind of like what Smitty said. Like I think like depending on I think it really depends on the matchups every week. This might be one of those. Might want to be one of those positions where they might switch some guys around depending on who they're lining up and what their problem is. Like I said, depending on the matchups, I think every offense is different, obviously. So, time is time, but I mean, he's got to stay healthy too. He missed a lot of time. There's a lot of guys that missed a lot of time, and have to get healthy and. They got a gauntlet of teams. I understand like maybe things will look a little differently now with some of these teams, how they're playing right now. Before the season started, we went over the schedule. Man, we got this team and that team, 49ers, Bills, this, that, but things do change, and I just think more work when you're, you gotta have the availability. Like that's the main thing. If you don't have that, when guys come back from injury, it's not like they're like back to their normal selves. Like they got to work their way back in to feel right. You miss 4 weeks. It's a big deal. It's it's
especially when it's one of those injuries where it's like a foot, it's like a hand.
It's a lingering thing, which sucks.
You feel the pain every time you take a step. Like that's why I be like with Nakobe Dean, like people want me to kill him, right? They like he sucks, he's horrible. I'm like, bro, he missed 4 weeks. He literally only played 5 games going into this week. He'll be his 5th game. Like he has to get into the speed of the game again. Like, yeah, they threw him back in there, but he might not have been 100% prepared to be back on the field.
Last year was just a sample size too. Like everyone's like, oh, like this is his rookie year this year. Like last year he came in for some games, he made some plays, whatever. But this is the year, and like you miss valuable time at joint practices. You're missing all that time in the offseason. It's gonna hurt you like down the line. So he's already been hurt twice. Thank God, like Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow had they've been okay. Like we know that Howie doesn't put money into this position, so we know what we're getting out of it. They went into this season saying, we got Nakobe Dean here. Let's add, if we need to add some pieces around him, let's just do it. So I haven't really had an issue with the linebackers besides like these linebackers. Guys are getting beat by standing still. I mean, you're gonna. It's like everybody. That's what's with the zone coverage. That's how it's been with every player, whether you're a linebacker, a corner, whatever. It's hard to defend that when you're just sitting there and not reacting too early enough.
Hey, Jigga, I appreciate it. I didn't know we had that many nickels play in the nickel.
Yeah, we did.
Maddox, McPherson, Roby, Bradbury, Ricks, and Brown. 6. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be consistent when you got guys in and out the rotation.
I just want to ask a question real quick. I'm going into this Sunday game. So if Roby is not a go, who would y'all trust in that nickel if CeeDee Lamb is lined up in front of him? Sidney Brown or Ricks?
Well, I mean, according to Jeff Kerr, I'm gonna just go off what he said came out of the Eagles' house. We already know both of them are gonna play the nickel. Yeah, we already know that. We already know that. What I would prefer you to do is compensate. a little bit. Don't let him get in the nickel and just cook us like they let Justin Jefferson do. Justin Jefferson went to the nickel and got 150 plus on us. Like that's ridiculous. Like if you're gonna put CD in the slot, I'm not saying make Slay follow or nothing like that, but maybe a simple put an extra person on that side of the field, compensate. I mean, because both of them going to be in field. They're both inexperienced. It's going to happen where he's an experienced wide receiver. Even no matter what you feel, if he top 10, top 15, top 5, he has the ability to know this is a young guy. And look at what Cooper Kupp did. He literally ran 8 slants in a row. Like that's the type of stuff they'll do. And they already looking to check down. They haven't been an explosive offense.
That's what teams do. Like I slant after that Rams game was probably the worst game. It was like slant. The first half was slant after slant after. It was the same thing.
He kept doing that double step slant too.
And like they were like, I mean, they had like nickel corner after, like they were like substituting guys nonstop. Like, dude, how are you supposed to I felt like Roby had more. They settled him down in the second half, and they can't. They kind of went his way more in the second half. But I mean, they have to figure it out too, because Avonte Maddox will not be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. It's not going to happen. He's got a $10 million cap hit next year. The Eagles are not going to extend him. He's got 4 injuries in 2 years. McPherson is coming off an injury, so like we got to see how he's going to be coming off of the injury that he has. I don't think Maddox is going to be here. I think you have Isaiah Rodgers coming in next year, which a lot of Colts fans are really mad that he left. I mean, there's guy could play out. I mean, I think secondary is bright. I mean, we got to really the next 3 years. You can have 2 different outside corners. Like the Eagles got to. I know a lot of people are on the Patrick Surtain train, like this whole deadline, and I'll just give up the first now. Like, what's the point of going to the draft? Like, you got to, but. I get it. I get both sides to it, but you're not going to like if we didn't have an outside corner and they were desperate, like then if we didn't have a true number 1, then I would totally get it. But when you're already setting the outside, you're not going to redshirt anybody just to stash them away till next season and getting rid of Slay or something like that. So, I think it just comes down to, I think they're trying to, it's weird because I feel like they're running a competition at that position at times when Roby's not playing, because Roby's not going to be here next year. Probably not. I mean, they're going to put in a younger guy there. So we'll see.
I like the Isaiah Rodgers move. It's undercover because he's suspended, so people aren't really paying attention to it. But I thought from the beginning that was a Avonte Maddox is out of here type of move. He's young. He doesn't have an injury history. And when he's on the field, he's been producing. So, I mean, Avonte Maddox, when he's on the field, he's healthy. He's top 5.
He's underrated, definitely.
But 100%. He doesn't get on the field enough. Like last year, I was watching podcasts every day. And when he came back, they're like, oh, my God, he's going to have a good game. He starts off fire against Dallas. He goes right back out. Like, we didn't even get to use you. Like, you literally played almost like Aaron Rodgers. You played like 8 snaps, and then you're back on the bench going out for the rest of the season.
He's lucky he made it back a second time, because if the Eagles didn't reach the Super Bowl, he wouldn't have came back. If they got kicked out of the playoffs the first round, it wouldn't have been enough time. So 4 injuries in 2 years he's a liability. I mean, that's why they start cross training Bradbury to nickel and training camp, because they didn't trust him staying healthy. I mean, he already had 1 injury already, whether it's a toe, it's like little lingering injuries. That's unfortunate, but I don't think he's here. I don't see them extending him. And he's got, like I said, he's got a $10 million cap hit. There's no way they're keeping that number with him. There's just no way it's happening.
All right. So, I mean, we've been here 30 minutes and the guy who we love the most name hasn't come up. So I'm gonna have to bring it up. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
8 turnovers, 2,400 total yards, 19 total touchdowns. I'm gonna go first, right? I'm not as concerned about the turnovers because I'm looking at the numbers, right? Compared to last year, he almost has as many deep passes this year as he attempted in the whole 18 weeks last year.
True.
Like, he's on the pace to put up like 5,900 yards. Like, how do you argue with somebody if they throw, let's say, 15 interceptions, but he has 6,000 yards?
Yeah.
like people want to bring up Dak Prescott since that's who we playing, right? Oh, y'all complain about Dak and his picks. Dak had 2,800 yards with 15 interceptions. That'd be basically if my quarterback had 15 right now, would be the numbers Dak put up last year. Like I would be upset with that. Like I'm upset with him doing it now, but when I look at the projections, when I look at what's going on, when I look at the offense is struggling, sometimes he takes a little bit more in his hands than he should. He tries things, but he's very confident in his arm. You could say he has a noodle arm. You could say he don't throw the deep ball, whatever. He tries people. Double coverage, triple coverage, bracket coverage. He's going to put the ball to the receiver he wants it to go to, and he ain't going to hesitate to think about it the second time. So I seen the question earlier. So I'm going to put that question in when I pass it. Do you think he will be able to beat Dallas from the pocket? Dallas is manufacturing pressure. They are bringing pressure from everywhere they can to try to get the quarterbacks. And they're trying to help Micah Parsons get as much pressure as he can also. He's not going to be played at linebacker. So I don't think what we tried to do last time to him will work, but I think that might be the game plan.
Yeah, I think it's I think even the couple of games that the Cowboys lost, and I think the one thing you got to do it even with Micah Parsons is you got to run to his side. I think you got to run the football like crazy on this team. Run to his side every single time, because once that happens, their teams that the run games get really good. Even last year, Lane Johnson. I mean, I don't even think he even lasted those two Cowboy games last year. I don't even think he was in 100%. Those two games we had last year. We beat their backup, they beat ours. We really haven't had that, Dak versus Hurts game, and finally we're going to get it on Sunday. But here's the difference with Jalen Hurts. Like, I mean, when it comes to Jalen Hurts, and I don't even care about the picks that much. It's like, I know the guy answers after a pick. Like, he doesn't fold like these other quarterbacks fold. Like Dak folds after that first pick. It's like downward spiral, right? Brock Purdy. I mean, it just gets worse. Like, that's why when you have a quarterback that has a mindset like that, when you have a quarterback that's not affected by anything, even by a fatal mistake, a fatal error, it is what it is. I like even the quarterback from the Ravens, like I think there's like even like a couple picks more than Lamar Jackson, even a couple more picks than Lamar Jackson. And the thing is, Hurts is never going to get the respect, even in his career, because of those rushing touchdowns. Like, there's overall touchdowns and then there's passing touchdowns, and the league respects the passing touchdowns more, even though they've, it's the same amount of points regardless. Hurts is great. I think maybe this little injury is a blessing in disguise, because we're really getting to see like when he's forced in the pocket, what he could do. I think he's fine. Like I said, we know his running isn't like 100% speed. You could tell. He runs when he has to, get out of the pocket and do it. He's not bailing as much. There's no QB design runs, like, you know what I mean? So I think he's fine. He's made some mistakes this year, but everybody makes mistakes. Like, I think he's been on fire this year, and obviously having AJ
I definitely
Brown
agree with you on that too, Joey. About him being in the pocket. You actually seen him be a quarterback.
Yeah, dude. Like, everyone used to call him a running back every single game. He's just a running back, but the guy's throwing dimes. Like, he's had his hiccups. I get it. Maybe maybe his progression where he's maybe checking down, and he should have checked down. Maybe there's early in the season where there's a guy wide open. So I get it. But he's got everything he needs for this offense. He's got two number one receivers. He's got, Julio Jones now that's going to get more opportunity, and very reliable. And probably people agree that he's more reliable than Quez Watkins. And, Quez Watkins is going to come back soon. So we're going to find out what happens with that situation. And the offensive line is good. You get Cam Jurgens back this week, so we'll see. And by the way, for the Cowboys on their side, really going to this game offensively, they're down to their third left tackle this week. I mean, Tyron Smith is questionable. I don't think he's going to play. They lost their backup guy that's probably not going to be ready this week at left tackle, so they're probably down to their third left tackle. So I think you can't, you got to be aggressive in this game. You got to be aggressive. And I think that's where you can't be conservative offensively. You can't third and long, screen pass. You gotta sling the ball a little bit. You gotta hit him where it hurts, man. And get these guys vertical downfield, because at the end of the day, like if it's not going to be AJ Brown having a big game, it's going to be Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert's going to be involved a lot. And you have to run this ball this week a lot with DeAndre Swift. I don't want to see Kenneth Gainwell having 2 more carries less than Swift this week. I don't want to see it. So we'll see. I think it's a winnable game, and it's easily, the problems offensively and defensively, they're fixable. There's nothing major. It's just like the adjustments haven't been, we'll come out of a Miami game perfect, like we did, not perfect, but we played very well. It was a hard fought battle, and then completely shit the bed and giving quarterbacks way too much respect. I mean, even the first Washington game, the Eagles defense, I think Howell only had like 11 incompletions. And this game was worse. The last Washington game was worse. It was, the statistics are, I don't even know. I forgot what they were at.
He went 39 of 52 for 397 and 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
Almost the same. The incomplete, almost the same. It's crazy. The stats are bigger, but incompletion wise, almost the same thing. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's like with these divisional, like when it's a bigger game, like Miami was a big game, and like they'll play their best. Then when it comes to these other teams where like, you should know what Washington's doing. Like, their players, they know us. Their core. They played very well against us, and we still came out with the win. So it shows you, like, how far this team has come, how resilient this team is. So I'm hoping we get more consistency. That's all. And I understand that no team out there, offensively or defensively, is playing perfect. There's not one team out there, at least offensively, that's playing perfect. Okay, there's not really a team out there that you're going to say, oh yeah, playing better than the Eagles. Like the Eagles will, like KC's not playing perfect every week. Like there's, it's really all there for us to lose at the end of the day if they don't take care of business. So, the Eagles aren't rolling over on Sunday. It ain't happening.
We sure that Maddox is out for the season, right?
Yeah, he out.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Eagles champ, he out for the season. Go ahead, DV.
Yeah. So the first question, Jalen Hurts. As far as Jalen Hurts go, like I'm on record basically saying that some of those interceptions wasn't on him, but most of them were on him. And he's throwing the ball more. Situations change. We got a new offensive coordinator. You can throw all the excuses at the situation. The truth of the matter is that the difference between Hurts and Dakota is that Hurts bounced back from his mistakes and win us ball games when it matters, regardless if he does it with his legs or his arms. Whereas though Dakota, those interception comes in at critical times, whereas though that he's losing those type of meaningful ball games, like in the playoffs or against the Jaguars, things like that. So Jalen Hurts, yes, we are frustrated with the turnovers because it's uncharacteristic from what we seen last season, and we wanted more of that as Eagles fans. But at the end of the day, I feel like that football is football right now. It's a weird time. It's a weird time, whereas though, they was just the commentators for the Kansas City Chiefs game, they were just saying, oh, it's out of the ordinary that Patrick Mahomes throw these many picks in the game, or he's not playing like himself. Whereas though Jalen Hurts had the flu and they weren't giving that to him, but he still won the ball game. Whereas though, Patrick Mahomes didn't. So we gotta look at it and take consideration of that. As far as this upcoming matchup, man, I just think that we just got to win in the trenches. I think that's going to be the meaningful part of this game, man. Offensive line, if Cam Jerk is a go, I know they gave him the 21-day window. If he is a go, let him start. Sua Opeta, he's on the injury report. So you want, some healthy guys out there, and just stop like a Michael Parsons or Lawrence, And on the flip side, we got to get to that. We have to, and we still got to, keep the strength as us being the number one run stopping defense. We can't let Pollard, get those those swing passes or whatever to, be able to, gain some yards for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's where I'm at with it. I already know it's going to be a battle outside, the receivers and everything. I know they're almost dead last, giving up yards to tight ends. So a lot of people are expecting Dallas Goedert to have a big day. However, I think that they're going to try to cover all bases. Come in, try to control the momentum at first, but then I felt like us playing to our strength. I think that we're going to keep the ball out of Dallas's hands, and just running the clock out, playing Eagles football. It's going to be a gritty game. Honestly, I feel like it's going to be a gritty game. We're going to try Bland. I already know we're going to try Bland. Whoever Gilmore is on, double move. Double move. That's all I'm gonna say. Double move. I'm not really too like nervous about this game. It's more so that I just want our coaches to coach correctly. This is a winnable game, and going forward, I just think that once we get out of this and health wise, I just think that we will see a whole different football team from the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City game, and also the Buffalo Bills. But first, we just got to take care of the division.
Oh, before we move on, right? I know we was talking about Jalen Hurts. I know y'all probably seen the graphic, right? But Jalen Hurts, when the Eagles are trailing or tied, 72% completion rate, 1,361 yards, 13 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 118.7 rating. All his interceptions came while we were up.
Yeah, it's weird. Probably
Is
right.
it?
Yeah.
And Joey, Tom states he was like he feels like Jalen is taking more opportunities and chances when we up, just to see what's working since people are playing him different.
Unnecessary plays, sure. Yeah, I could see it. Then when the focus on getting the plays when you're down in games, yeah, I feel like it's a weird process sometimes. Like I feel like some of the play calls, like then you should start wasting more time. And I think there's some games with like time management. I think time management, even the first Washington game was like, I thought the time management was bad. Certain time you score way too early with 1:43 on the clock. I mean, it's way too much time. Second down, you're just slinging the ball in the end zone. Like you got another play up your sleeve, like just like waste some more time. It helps out your whole entire team to win this game. So you don't put your team into a overtime position,
Do you think that's a Jalen Hurts checking out, or do you think that's Brian Johnson literally calling a pass?
I think it's been both. I think there are certain times that he does check out of certain things or sees something that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go sling. I mean, yeah, I think it's both. And I think there's times where Brian Johnson is forcing Hurts to make certain throws, and and it leads to bad things. So I think it's been a little bit of both, no doubt.
So me for this weekend, right? I told Boss, I told Cole, if Cam Jurgens was back, they were gonna be in a world of trouble, because before he left, we were at like 5.6 yards a clip. Like, and we down to like 3.5 or 3.6 a clip. Like that's 2 yards. It's 2 yards. Like, and I know why, because Suopeta is not as athletic as Cam. And when Cam was in, we were using a lot of that pull guard, a lot of trickery, trap plays. People think we running like the dive, right? No, we're running off tackle traps. Like you get caught up by Landon Dickerson, you get caught up by Cam Jurgens, a linebacker. You think you got a clean tackle. Next thing you know, you got a 300-pounder putting you on your back, and you looking up from your back to see Swift going past you. I'm kind of ready for that. And I think that's going to be the matchup. I do think we're going to run at Micah, but I think he's going to get hit in the mouth by Landon a couple times. Everybody think it's going to be Lane. I think that pulling guard is going to hurt his soul.
Yeah.
He over pursues a lot. He gets caught out of position. And I think he's going to be in one of those positions, and I think we're going to see Swift get a big one. We haven't seen it yet. We've seen, him chipping away at the block. I think this week, to be honest, I think he's hungry. I think Cam is going to be hungry. I think the offensive line in general is going to be hungry. and I think he's gonna break one.
Yeah.
And I think if we can stop them from doing the quick game like everybody else has done to us, pretty much every team we played so far came in and was like, we just running slants. We're running drags, we're running comebacks. They 10 yards off the ball. Hopefully Sean Desai adjusts that. If we can stop them from the quick game, and see, people say make them pass the ball. No, I want to make them run because they don't do it well.
Yeah, it's true.
Make Tony Pollard kill me. Make Deuce Vaughn kill me. I don't even know who their third back is. I think he a practice squad guy from what I heard. I thought it was Malik Davis still, but he's off the team. Make them kill me. If I'm gonna die, I'd rather it be at the hands of those guys. Take the pass away.
Yeah, 2 teams that are bad in the red zone too. 2 teams that are bad in the red zone.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Joey. I was just trying to give him a little take.
No. I'm like I said, like it's the physicality of this game. It's they better put their helmets on, strap up. Like I've seen the stupid conversations this week and Cowboy fans and Eagle fans and comparing players, and it's just like I never get involved in that because at the end of the day, like I've been saying this every week, it's a week-to-week league. You knew when Dallas was scored over 40 on the Rams, like what was coming this week, okay? And you can't just take what you played from last game and going into this game and to say that they're going to do the same thing. It's just, it doesn't go like that. It never goes that way, So, like, I think we've learned from that. We've learned from overlooking, even overlooking the Jets. And I think that loss really kind of changed things. We still have issues, but I think who knows if we would have won against Miami if they were still undefeated going to that Miami game. I don't know. Maybe everyone, the coaches really looked at themselves after that Jets game and really started to change some things around. But as much as we have to watch out for certain players that they have, like that they got to watch out for AJ Brown. They're talking a lot of good about Deron Bland, one of the best corners out there. We're going to find out. I mean, I think Bland is going to be on Smitty the whole entire game. That's me, because just for the speed in general. But
I was waiting for the trolls to come. I knew they were coming. They couldn't have been too far. I knew they was coming. Hey, DV, where's Darlene? I haven't seen Darlene since they lost to the Cardinals.
No. So Coles and Boss is on JC and BG's stream, so she probably over there.
Oh, well, Camel Harris, I ain't gonna say the rest of it. Hurts will not throw 2 picks Sunday. I have said to them, y'all are blinking on Rashad Bland and your defense to win this game. Y'all need them to score points because your offense isn't scoring. See, the difference is my offense is scoring, just not inside the 20. They're scoring. But my defense is bend and break until the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. That's when we don't break.
And that's when it counts the most.
That's when we don't break. So, like, I want to see a collective game, right? Where when I look at the not just the box score, when I'm watching the game, I feel like it's smooth. It's in rhythm. Like, I don't even feel like our scripted first drive even looks crispy. Like that drive should have been practiced so many times in walkthroughs and in the first 11-on-11 scrimmages. Like that should be the drive that you come out, you execute well. We don't even do scripted. Like you don't even know what we coming out to do. And listen, people don't want to point it out. We still look like Shane Steichen is calling plays. We do not run the ball in the first quarter like we should. Like last year, I watched Joeyshakes and Philly 500 shakedown every time we played a game, and that would be their first point. Like, why in the first quarter? Why last week at the end of the first? Why did we only have like 6 carries going into halftime?
Or they stray away from DeAndre. So like they here's 2 things. Like the thing that pissed me off the most with these running backs or just the substitutions is like they do this quarter bullshit where they will run Swift for a quarter and then they'll use them for a quarter and then they'll switch to Gainwell in the second quarter, which I can't stand that. Secondly, they'll I don't know. I think it just comes down like I don't get the like I don't know if they go through an analytic thing with this offense with these running backs or the probability. I have no idea. Like I don't get how, like, is it on the running back coach that's putting the substitutions in, or is it Brian John? Like that's because I know Deuce used to do that. He's throwing a running back in whenever, you know, he has the headset on, so he's hearing a specific play that he knows, and he puts in the best back for that play. Is that the same thing? Is that what a running back coach is doing? I don't know how it comes in from the sideline to when they go on the field, so I'm not really sure. Or another thing pisses me off is where, you know, Swift will get like a 1-2 yard run, and then they stray away from him, and they just get pass happy, start gunslinging. And that's been another thing. I'm just like, I mean, trust me, I love when Hurts is like loading up and he's passing that stuff, you know, he's passing it deep. And I'm like, you know, getting nervous because I'm just like, I hope someone's wide open, or I don't know what's going on. You know, but they get a little pass happy. And I understand it. You know, our offense goes through AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. I totally get it. It's a pass first team. I thought maybe I thought maybe we were going to change our identity this year, just because I felt like maybe they have to run a little bit more than pass. Maybe they had to open up the pass to make Jalen Hurts more comfortable, since Hurts taking so many hits this year. You know, but I mean, that's really the only issues I have with the running back. I mean, it's every week. It's every friggin' week. I'm like, I feel like I'm talking about the same thing. It's just.
Do you think it's at that point though, where like Kenny Gainwell has shown enough that he's not competent right now that they put somebody else out there?
Yes, 100%.
Because I noticed, after that fumble, he only got one carry.
He got the over Kenny. I said Joey is so over Kenny.
I'm over.
Kenny has rubbed all, because you know what it is. Like when the offseason came, Joey then was reporting like how the team was like, oh, they're ready for Kenny to be one running back. Right. Do y'all really know what we would be in right now if Kenny was running back?
As soon as we traded for Swift on the third day of the draft, I was like I didn't even have to think about how they're going to use him. I'm like, I know how they're going to use him. And he ran behind a good offensive line for Detroit last year, but this line is night and day. And I'm like, I understand you have to keep guys healthy, but you know, Rashad Penny was the first signing, and he was like, I'm so excited. Like, why wouldn't to get it to kind of work yourself for a contract next year? Because obviously the Eagles aren't keeping Rashad Penny after this year, so he's kind of working for himself. Like, okay, like I'm gonna run behind the best offensive line in the league that was just in the Super Bowl. Why not? Why wouldn't I not want to come here? So he actually shed some weight, because I think he was like 238. He shed to like 225, 2 something. So like and apparently the health department's been taking good care of him, but like, you know, like, is he still hurt? Is like something happening behind the scenes? We don't know. He played 5 games last year, so that's more than enough time. It's like he had like a late injury last year that he's still like rehabbing from. So what's the problem right now? My fear is that they're going to throw this guy into the most important moment when that guy hasn't. You got to take some hits, man. You got to get your body in football work. Take some hits. Like they're going to throw him into that one moment where it's so important, and he's going to fumble the ball, and we're all going to be pissed. That's what I'm waiting for. 100% is what I'm waiting.
I want him in this game,
and I'm on record. And I'm on record saying it. I was like, "Yo, I don't want him to get in the game, beat rusty, and then he fumbles or he doesn't do anything." And we like, "Yo, we should have just traded at the trade deadline for RB2, things like that." I just think that he needed to play more this half of the season. You know, just to get his feet wet in the offense, so when it comes to down the line, he's ready.
How many reps is he getting in practice though?
Yeah, but practice.
It's different. You're not trying to hurt anybody.
No. My question is like asking that because is he prepared? Like we saying, put him in the game in a crucial moment. Is it that they feel he isn't prepared because they see a lot of snaps in practice and he's executing the snaps in practice? Y'all say we're not going hard enough, but what if you're not looking explosive with people that aren't going hard enough? You get what I'm saying?
If he wasn't going hard enough, Trey Sermon should have made this team over him.
But that's what isn't that what's the name said though? Seth Joyner. He said like we wanted to cut Rashad Penny, but Trey Sermon had already got claimed by the Colts.
Right.
It's what I heard.
Yeah, but the thing with Trey Sermon, like his pass protection ain't great, and he fumbled the ball a couple times in those preseason games, so he didn't really help himself at all. Trey Sermon's had some good camps, he's had some good off seasons. Like the Eagles wanted him so badly that 1 year, a couple of years ago, like they wanted him, and they then they had to trade for him. They're like, no, we're not going to do it. Then he got off on waivers, and the Eagles snagged him up, and I was like, great. We used him one time on 2 snaps during that Jags game. I mean, that was it. I was like, dude, like, but every time we're talking about, every time they give Nick the question about, oh, he's a great player, it's like, but he was activated twice, didn't play one game, but only had 2 snaps in that Jags game, and that was it. So Penny was the first signing. So I'm just saying, like, you're not keeping 4 running backs for. There's got to be a reason you're not keeping four guys in this. I'd rather if Penny's not gonna do anything the rest of this year, why keep him? So the only thing I can believe right now is that they're just like, man, we have a fresh running back, fresh legs, hasn't been worn down this year, and they're just gonna like unleash him at the end of the year or just for playoffs. Because Diana Rossini, when she was first doing the news on the Eagles are going after a top safety, she was talking about, she found out some information on Rashad Penny and why the Eagles, it wouldn't surprise me if teams actually called the Eagles and said, dude, like what's going on with Penny? Like, is he up for trade, or is he unhealthy? Is like teams probably have no idea what the hell is going on. So, and Diana Rossini said that reportedly, like, the Eagles are going to keep Penny. He's not moving off this roster, and they're going to be using him for a postseason run. That was the news that came out. So
it'd be interesting if they bring him in during this stretch after the bye week. Like his first game is Kansas City.
They need to, because at the end of the day, you don't want them to go into the postseason rusty. That could be costly. It's one and done there. So you got to bring them in after the bye week. You have to.
That could be interesting. He come in like the Jets. He come in like the Kansas City game, and it's him and Swift, and you got a fresh back.
He only got to have that,
and he only got to play like 10, 11 games before you get to the Super Bowl. And his average is 10 games a season before he got the 5 games last year. He was averaging like 10 a season. You bring him in right now, that could be devastating for teams that's struggling because they haven't seen it. It's not on tape. So when you see 23 run out, you're like, where are he coming from? And then they just start pretty much running down your face. Just, here we go. Because I told you, DV, my plan for him was like first 2-3 quarters can be Swift and Gainwell kind of splitting in and out. But the fourth quarter with a lead, I wanted to put Penny in, and I wanted to rock-a-bye baby people to sleep. Like, I wanted to play old school Alabama football.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring Penny in, and we're just going to run halfback dive in the 2-hole, and we're going to make you pay for it. You tired, you can't stop this dude. The dude run with power, and then if he gets to the second level, he might go to the crib.
I want to get back to Jalen Hurts real quick. Okay. How do y'all feel about him walking off on a podium when they asked him about his knee again?
I mean, he told them last week that there was the last time I'm going to answer a question about my knee. Leave it alone. And then today, the last question you have, they telling you is one more question, and you say, "So how about your knee?" All right, see you later. I already told you I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, the thing that makes me drives me insane sometimes is if this guy had a knee injury for this long, why was he never on the injury report? Isn't that against rules? Like how is this not reported on an injury report of him, even knee injury but light practice or just something like that? I wonder why it's, you know what I mean? Like, why isn't this reported every week?
And he's not on there again. He's not on there again.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he has an apparent knee, why isn't it on the injury report? Why? I mean, are they allowed? Can they hide it? Is that, I get you don't want to like disclose information like on your quarterback for other teams to be like, oh, he's got a bad knee. Like which knee? You know what I mean? Like everyone knows what knee it is at this point. Like he wears the damn brace there or whatever. But I'm just kind of like confused on how like he's not on an injury report for weeks.
Dang, I just thought about that. I thought that was a rule you had to.
That's what I thought. Like before, when
Yeah.
we started seeing like the last few weeks, we started seeing like Jalen Hurts. He wasn't like, why does he look so hesitant? Why is he not running fast? Like, why isn't he running as fast when he's like got the ball in his hands? Like, there's something up with him. And then
he's not dead legging people. He ain't dead legging. His deadly dead leg. He ain't used it since like week 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing that's confused. That's kind of confused me a little bit regarding like that injury. If it's that like. If he's in that much pain, if Nick says he's in pain, he's tough, he's playing tough every game, and it's that much, like, how isn't it not reported? Like that's.
But Twiz, to answer your question, I mean, the answer you, a lot of our players were injured in a practice, and they were still on the injury report. It doesn't mean that you're not going to play in the game. It's just the simple fact that it has to be reported that he's injured his knee. It's already out there with the reports and stuff like that his knee is hurt. You see him limping in previous games. So that's what I'm saying. That
answer the
it has to
question,
be
right?
reported.
Only way you have to report him on the injury report if you're going to list him as question or doubtful. If it's going to be a full participant and you're not going to, take him out of the game, or you're not planning on possibly making a game time decision, it doesn't have to be reported.
All right,
that's weird though. I thought I'm reading the personal injury.
Right. But to answer to just question it a little bit, why was Jalen Carter on an injury report as full practice?
Because he was originally questionable, so they moved him up to full participant because they had already reported the injury. But seeing that Jalen Hurts' ability to play in the game was never downgraded or affected, they didn't have to report it. You get what I'm saying? So if they're going to put him on as questionable or doubtful or game time decision, whatever they call that, they have to report it. So Jalen Carter last week was listed as questionable. Until he is no longer questionable, he has to be on the injury report.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm reading it off the NFL policy. It says all players with designated injuries that will be listed as questionable, possible miss of the game, or did not practice must be reported. If players' ability to perform in a game or performance updates has not changed, player does not have to be reported on the injury report.
Okay. So if they know he's playing, they're not going to put him as questionable if they know he's playing. That's so like if he's questionable, then there's real issue of if he's going to play or not. But if the Eagles know that he's going to play 100%, they don't have to put him on there because he's not questionable. If that's what you're saying, okay.
Right? That's what it says on the. I'm reading off the NFL.com. That's the best way.
It's not confusing now, but it's kind of just
it's not.
I don't know.
Because I've always told like if a player was injured, you had to report it because the team had to know. Like, so when they say he's had an injury for what 5 weeks now, and I looked at the injury report every week. I've never seen Jalen Hurts' name on there ever. So, but Nick Sirianni will play the game of we were going to keep it as hush mouth as possible. If it's in between the rules, I'm going to use it. Because what was it last year? It was a player last year that was hurt, and everybody was wondering, like, I think it was Jalen, like the shoulder. People were like, is he out for a week? Is he out for 2 weeks? And then he just popped back up in the Giants game, and I don't even think – did we find out, like, Thursday, Friday? I think we found out Friday he was playing. It's like –
yeah.
Like, Nick Sirianni will – if it's in between the rules, he's going to use it all the way down to the furthest extent. If I don't have to report it to you till Sunday before the game start, he's going to wait till Sunday before the game starts.
It's almost like that he's staying away from the questions from the media, and I think that he's training Jalen Hurts to do that too. This is what we saw today, earlier today. I think that it's more so that if I'm out there, I'm available. It shouldn't be a question if I'm okay or not. I get it, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a bad question. It wasn't a bad question because you want to know, is it, going in the right direction? or not, because you are a guy. We just paid you this money. So I understand both sides. But at the end of the day, it is frustrating as a player, especially when trying to get away from that, trying to get better. You just went through an hour of treatment after the game, the last game. So yeah, it's not one of those things that you want to keep talking about. It's frustrating, but at the same time, it is politics. It is a
So a
part of
bone
politics in
bruise
football.
question. I don't know. Y'all, if y'all know, y'all can tell me. Bone bruise is what, 2 to 6 weeks? Something like that? 4 to 6 weeks, something in there?
I can believe that. Yeah,
It's 4 to 6. 4 to
4 to
6.
6. 4 to 6. So he should be getting close to healthy now, right?
Soon. Yeah, but it depends on
a week is going to help, no doubt. I mean, it's going to help.
Yeah, that bye week will help, but it all depends also, like, the contact of him. We still would, what was it? The Miami Dolphins game, we ran 4 brotherly shoves. We run 4 of them. That could be wear and tear on that. It's a lot of stuff that goes with it that could either prolong it, but he's just playing through it.
Because I've heard
it's
more pain tolerance than effect to performance.
It could be. It depends.
I'm not 100%. I'm asking y'all because I'm not 100% sure, but somebody told me.
It depends. It depends where the bruise is, honestly.
Right.
It depends where the bruise is, honestly, and I think that that's telling, but we don't really know too much. The medical staff, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, they're not really trying to give us too much. They're just saying that Jalen Hurts is available. He's ready to play. He's a tough kid. This is the answers that we're getting. We're not really getting, where is it bruised at? How are we playing through it? How are we protecting it? Things like that. We're not getting those answers. So all we could do is sit there and pray that, he's not taking a hit. If he does scramble, he's sliding or running out of bounds quickly, as he could. But at the end of the day, I just think that it's one of those things that we just got to trust at this point with our quarterback, and then also the Eagles organization.
All right. I ain't going to hold you too long, Joyce. So, I know you don't like doing score predictions. So, I know you listen, hey, look, you think I'm bull? I watch, bro. I watch.
Get it. I get
every week when he's like, I really don't do score predictions. He'll do it, but I'm not going to ask him for a score prediction. I don't need a score. You obviously think the Eagles are going to win. Can you tell me the spread? Do you think it'll be 3, 7, 10?
I think 3. I think 3 is fair. Being home definitely helps the situation, and I don't think I like really like the defense is where I'm I'm getting worried of how much what the adjustments are going to be if they start giving up free yards off the line. That's where it's to see where the adjustments are going to go is going to make the difference. To allow this pass rush to get there, I think they should be getting the Dak a lot on Sunday. This is Jalen Carter's first game against the Cowboys. You got Jordan Davis back, so the edge, we're starting to peak a lot more now with Reddick, really getting his stride now. So, to generate this pass rush, we gotta at least cover just for a second longer. They got to just do a little bit more, and just make the adjustments from there. You make adjustments every game. So, I don't worry about the offense putting points up. I really don't, unless it's really bad, which I can't see it happening. Because I think between the receivers and tight ends we have, and I think the matchup wise, I think Dallas fans are. I don't know if they're lying themselves, but I think they're going to be very surprised on, these weapons and how capable we are. And Jalen Hurts is not going to be much mobile. I mean, that's what we've been dealing with. So, I think with a healthy run game, and then really working the red zone really well. And I think working on some of, Dallas likes to be aggressive. So guys that over pursue, I think they have to exploit that, especially Micah Parsons as well, and really take him out of the game. I think they can do that. They've done it before, and the other 2 teams have done it as well this year. So I think, I think they could separate in this game, but I say this every week and I feel like they can, and it's like one fluky play that happens sometimes that goes in.
Because that last game should have been what, 31-52?
It shouldn't have even been 31. It shouldn't
It
have
should have
been
been
31.
31. That garbage
Yeah.
time touchdown they gave up, and then it almost put us in another position to give the game to them.
It's just it's like, I know it's crazy. Like that last touchdown they got, it was like, dude, like you got to try at least like try to kick an onside kick. What if they get the ball again? It's just no safe play. We haven't had a comfortable game where you're sitting back and you're like, man, like it's always on edge.
Maybe the best game was the Bucks. Probably was the least stressful game, and it still was stressful up until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it hasn't. Nothing's been a we haven't had that dominating game this year, and this because like we don't have that dominating game doesn't mean it's a bad team because no teams are dominating. Like Miami. Like if Miami was in our red zone and they would have scored the extra point, like we just took a knee at the 3, the 5, whatever. Like I'm like, score, man. I understand you want to get more injuries and stuff like that. So I understand why they're not doing it because all it takes is one play for somebody to get hurt. So I understand that. But if that was Miami, they would have scored more points if they were winning the game. They would
have threw it right to Tyreek Hill. Like fuck you. We don't care. We down here. All right, DV, you don't get special treatment. I'm gonna need your score prediction, brother. I know it's something 31-17 or something like that. I know it's somewhere in there. No, that's
my safe. That's because that's my safe pick. That's my safe pick. But my keys to victory is basically just don't utilize the run. Please utilize the run. And then also we got to win in the trenches. That's number 2. Number 3, I do want to explore the matchup with their DBs versus our wide receivers. Like I said, Gilmore is a sucker for double moves. I've been seeing it on tape. Bland also, if he's going to be on AJ, you got to exploit that because I'm going to trust the number 1 receiver in the league. 1B or 1A.
He only down like 70 yards. Yeah, you can leave him at 1, man.
So basically, I'm trusting him to win that matchup against a Bland. But I'm also trusting Devontae Smith to do double moves and slants and everything to get open on Gilmore as well. I want us to get Dallas Goedert involved early, for them to make an adjustment. It's all chess game at this point. Final score. I like the final score that who was that? Eagles Playbook podcast actually put up there 34-24. I'm gonna say that.
All right. So keys to victory. I don't have any offensive keys to victory. Y'all have already said them.
Yeah.
So my 3 keys is gonna be defense. My first key is to get at Dak Prescott. My second key is to exploit Mike McCarthy and make him one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And my second one, get turnovers. You get those 3. I don't think they can win a game against us. If we win the turnover battle, we win the time of possession, and they get out of their game plan. They have to play a different way. Like that's how San Fran beat them. They've been doing so much protection on Dak Prescott. When they got down, they were like, Dak, we need you to pass out of this. And he just couldn't do it. He just wasn't comfortable putting the ball up the field. He doesn't have Kellen Moore, who's calling those plays that was getting receivers open. He was, if you really look at it, like I seen a stat that a Dallas fan posted, like last year, like 58% of his passes were to receivers with that were wide open. Like it's hard to duplicate that when you're not getting the same play calling. So if we can make Mike McCarthy one-dimensional, we can get at Dak Prescott and we can get some turnovers, we win this game 38-24.
Okay.
It's fair.
I think we're gonna score. I don't think we have a problem with scoring on Dallas. But I think the problem is gonna be the defense again. If you just let Sam Howell put up 400, we cannot let Dak sit back there and do his taxes.
I think the opposite though, because we're home. I think Kevin Byard is going to even try to set the tone. Slay, he's going to get everybody involved. Even though he don't have that C on his patch because he got here in the trade, I think that he's going to set the tone to make the other vets step up. I think that Reed Blankenship is going to be at the right place, right time. I think the secondary is not something that we got to worry about. It's more so, can we get to Dak Prescott to disrupt the connection with him and CD? That's where is that, or any of the tight ends, because he's got a rapport with the tight ends now. We have to disrupt that. The front rush got to be there, and if they're there, I don't have no doubt that the secondary could cause turnovers.
Okay. So the last question that I have, X factor defense and offense. I'm gonna take Jordan Davis and I'm going to take Devontae Smith. I think if Jordan Davis can get the push in the pocket like he's been doing the last few weeks, sealing up the run, making people change direction and go places they don't want to go, and contributing to some of the pass rush. I know he's not getting a lot of sacks, but I heard people say if he had 3 sacks this year, people would be okay with him. So he has those. I think 2.5, 3, somewhere in there. I think him, and I think if Devontae Smith, as you've been saying, DV, if he can expose whoever's on him, if it's Bland, if it's Gilmore, if he can expose them and get 100, 105 yards, I think he could be an X factor. So that's my 2. I'm gonna take Devontae Smith and I'm gonna take Jordan Davis.
Yeah, I'll probably say Jalen Carter. Because I think he just makes everybody around him better. Like, because he's so disruptive, he necessarily doesn't have to have the statistics. I mean, still the highest graded defensive tackle in the league right now, even after missing a game and a couple of games already. So I think when it comes down to it, like I said, I think he's going to help everybody. Everybody around him it gets freed up. I feel like that's. I think both, even with Jordan Davis, because I think he's the most important player to our defensive line. But I think when it comes to Jalen Carter coming back, they're going to find out what drafting a first round defensive tackle and what it means, and with a guy that can actually do something. I think offensively, it's gonna come down to the. I think Swift's gonna have a good game. I do. I think Swift's gonna run hard. Look, playing at home is a big deal. I mean, it's a huge deal. This week, as much as I want the Kelly Greens to be, against an NFC East opponent this year, but do
anybody know what we wearing Sunday?
We're in
midnight green.
I think the green. Yeah.
Okay. I remember last year we played them at home. Didn't we wear black?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
Get the run game going. Get the run going. Bounce out with the pass. I mean, like you said, Devontae Smith. I think will have a big game. I think we have 2 guys have big games. We'll see what happens. AJ Brown's going to be interesting to see. Can he keep this up with 125 plus? We'll see. Because if we win this game and AJ Brown doesn't have 125 yards, they'll try to pick a nugget out of there somehow of how their defense is that good. So. Stopping AJ Brown for the day. So they're going to have to pick their poison. There's a lot of weapons on this offense, and we'll see what they do.
Hey, before you go, DV, I was listening to some Cowboy fans last night in the space, bro. They're really scared of Kevin, bro. They're like, we got to get it. We got to keep the ball away from Kevin. He's had all his best games against Dak. I think he has 7 interceptions against Dak alone.
I think so.
That's
between 4 and 7. It's between 4 and 7.
Something like that. I just can't remember. It was 7 something and 4 something. I just can't remember which. I know it's either 7 pass breakups and 4 interceptions, or 4 pass breakups and 7 interceptions. It's something like that. They're really scared of him.
I had Eagles champ. We was almost on the same page, but I'm gonna go Hassan Reddick and Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to show out this game, especially that he know that he got time to rest, and he should be smart enough to know his body at this point. So I'm gonna just go Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts will have a good game. It's not going to be 3 to 4 touchdowns passing. It might be 2 passing, 2 rushing, but it's going to be a meaningful game for Jalen Hurts. Hassan Reddick, I think that they don't really have an answer for him on the edge, and he knows, especially being from the tri-state area, how meaningful this game is to us. So we go in there with that mindset and also people that have been here. But Hassan Reddick, I'm looking for him to even have a couple sacks this game. I think that's going to be meaningful to the defense. That Hassan Reddick is active, and I think that I'm just giving him the nod. I could have went Kevin Byard because I think that but I need to see how he is with a full week's practice first before I give him that nod. But I'm gonna go Hassan Reddick on the safe side.
All right, so I'm gonna give a few of the fans a shout out. Jigga said he likes Bayard and Swift. Eagles champ said he like Hassan Reddick, AJ. Fly Eagle Fly said he thinks Swift will have 125 rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Be a good day.
And
That's
Jigga says
crazy.
this will end, or we can end. Jalen has never beat Dak Sunday. Even though it's one game. Like, bro, that kills
It's
me
one
with
game.
Cowboys fans, bro.
It's one game, and then like I said, I told everybody, all the Cowboys fans and all that, when we win, I'm not saying nothing to them at all. I'm not saying nothing about it. I'm talking about the game from the Eagles' perspective only on my channel. I am not coming at the Cowboys fans. I'm gonna just let them melt down themselves. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
You just gotta watch the show, man. You gotta watch the entertainment. That's all you gotta do. So no, like it's I feel like that's all they care about. It's like this game doesn't make or break us. Like, yeah, we'll be like a half game ahead, still if they lose this game and they, go into the bye week. But this doesn't make or break the season. This is just bragging rights and a division win at the end of the day. So if someone's going to destruct, it's going to be the Cowboy fans if they lose this game. So that's it.
Well, somebody asked, what do we think about Dak starting back to use his legs again?
That's what they got to do. I mean, that's how Dak was successful in the past. I felt like when they just made him a pure pocket guy, when they're not aggressive with him, that's the problem. Like, I felt like with a good run game, and when he is more mobile, he is very successful in that offense. I think that's the one thing they have to do to beat us is obviously him obviously using his legs. That's the one thing that's I think is diminished, that hasn't been consistent the last couple years. And I think they've kind of lost that, and it could have been a lot of other things, but yeah, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen because we need to get pressure on him. He's going to run around. There might be, there are a lot of times where he escapes and he gets the first down. There's a lot of times where there are teams that almost get him. I think like I said, like you talked about the 49ers Cowboys game, I think that's the best blueprint you can have. Linebackers are flying. I mean, Fred Warner and them boys fly getting to him. It's just crazy. Can we do that, with the linebacker core that we have? And we just need to get some pressure, man. And just that's right. Really the secondary is the only problem I have going to this game. It's this damn secondary and how they're used. It's just that's it.
Hey Joey, do you think like I know I said that was my last question, but just you brought that up. Do you think Kevin being in the secondary is gonna help with Sean Desai, give him some type of insight to adjust, or maybe even help players on the field adjust? Because I feel like, we got a lot of young guys. His knowledge of the game, like just in the Kobe Dean, for instance, like, hey, if you go a little bit right, maybe 3 yards, you would have picked that off. If you hear when we call this play, you take away this. Like, do you think he helps with stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know 100% if they're going to him and but I think he knows Dak Prescott at this point. So if he makes some adjustments on his own on field, it will, what he thinks is going to happen, then he'll just do it on his own. But I mean, the Eagles really have no excuse. I mean, they know the player, they know all the players, it's a divisional game. Now we haven't played, this year. So all you really have to go off of is, a lot of blueprints of games that they've played and what their weaknesses and strengths are. And then having the right substitutions, whether you have to compensate for the nickel spot and to see where where these guys are lining up all game. But yeah, I mean, I feel like when a player knows, a quarterback really well, they could make plays, and he could make a play. It could happen. Do I think sorely they're going to him asking for a lot of things? No, but I mean, I don't think they went to him at all. I think he's just going to work himself in his own mind on the field on Sunday mid-afternoon and just do his own thing. And obviously, follow what Sean decides doing. But if he has that instinct, it's going to happen. Then turnovers could possibly happen. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Me and DV, you had the conversation. I just thought it was interesting. You got a vet. He knows Dallas. He's played his best games. Just his insight in a game like this, I thought could be partially, small amount of, crucialness. But at the same time, I get what Joey's saying now. Like, if he adjusts himself, he makes the play. You didn't need anybody else to adjust. I mean, my only problem is, like Joey, the secondary. Like, are we going to play 10 yards off? Are we going to give them the free yardage?
They're going to do it every game. They're going to do it every game. Like, if you're playing yards off, like, you have to, if you're opening stuff underneath, like, you got to tackle. And I think that's been like a big thing. I think the tackling hasn't been fantastic at times.
But Joey, what's funny though, if you remember, what game was that Eli Rick started? Rams?
Might have been, yeah, it was Rams.
They played man. He had Eli Ricks in man so much. I was like, oh, we definitely finna switch it up. And then Slay comes back and it's like 10 yards.
Yeah.
Like, do you not trust Slay's speed and you trust Eli Ricks' speed?
That's what it is. That's what it is, because Eli Ricks is younger. He shows that speed and that physicality, whereas though that Slay is more so that conservative, and we can still play in man, but I'm a back up, so I'm gonna meet you instead of trying to get off the line with you.
Yeah.
Because if he's gonna get beat. We seen what happened with when they did that against the Rams when Cooper Kupp did that and he had the pull on his shirt. Yeah, you seen what happened. So that's why they like, oh no, we got to make sure you stay back a little bit, and that's the defense that we got to play, especially with these two cornerbacks here. Now, if we had somebody like a lot of people before the trade deadline wanted Patrick Surtain and everything, like if we had him, now you can play ball. But now since we got them, we got to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I just noticed that, and I brought it up to you. I was just like, dang, he played a lot of men with Ricks, but he won't play that same man with Slay. So it has to be a trust factor in speed or technique or something. It's something he's seen in Slay one-on-one, and man, he's like, I'm not putting you in man with nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're just going to play everybody off, like I think the difference last year, it didn't even happen a whole year last year. Like when Slay was like shadowing like number ones, like it was great. Even like against the Vikings, I mean, it did a fantastic job. And then they strayed away from that, and I think like you got to give him something to do, like to just line him up on one side the whole entire game and just let the offense give you what it gives you. I don't know. I feel like he needs to be utilized more, and they're never going to do it. They're going to play the same way and just keep these guys on that side of the field and just do their thing. So, I just as long as like if they want to play off, that's fine. But like they have to make these tackles because these big, they got weapons. They're going to make big chunk yard plays because of missed tackles. It's going to be a problem. So,
yeah, somebody said that too, and I was like, dang. They were like, yeah, your cornerbacks don't like to tackle. And I'm like, I know Slay don't like to tackle at all, but James Bradbury was a legit tackler last year. We would bring him up to help in the run last year. Like we would put him in, even though we knew it was a run, we would put him 3 yards off the line and let him make a move on the receiver to try to help with the run. But now you're not even doing that.
Oh, even on the Pringle, the potential big catch that would have happened, and obviously it was overthrown.
Oh, when he was wide open.
Yeah, and that was, and I know Slay went on Twitter when somebody was complaining about it. He said it was an all-out blitz, that play, and he expected like a short pass. But expecting just because you blitz everything but the kitchen sink, it doesn't mean that it's gonna. I mean, if you have and Pringle's fast, man. We've seen what we did in Kansas City. Like they got, he's a speedy guy. Like you can't just rely on, because we have an all-out blitz, that it's going to be a short pass regardless, because we might not get there. If we don't get there, you always got to be alert, and just letting that guy go downfield like that. Just look at what the defensive line does with just a little bit of coverage. Even like Atwell on that slant pass, the
Right.
post corner, whatever it was, like that would have been a touchdown. But Matt Stafford got pressured, and just that little bit of pressure could just take quarterbacks off accuracy wise just a little bit. So that's what they got to do Sunday. They got to do it every week, and there's a lot put into this defensive line right now, because if you're playing off the ball and you can't generate a pass rush because you're given wide receivers and tight ends 5 to 7 yards of free reign off the line. What's the point of paying these defensive? What's the point of paying these defensive tackles? What's the point of drafting these guys early if you're playing so damn conservative with your secondary? It's just a back and forth, like it's a headache, man. It's just.
Hey Joey, have you been looking at the blitz numbers?
No, I don't even know what the blitz.
What's the sure blitz? They're low. I don't even know.
They are low.
I know they're low though.
Now I do know that the Cowboys blitz a lot, and I think they're 4th or 6th in the league.
Yeah, that's why I said they're trying to manufacture pressure because they're not getting natural pressure.
Exactly. But that's Dan Quinn's type of scheme.
Yeah,
that's that scheme.
And when you blitz, like you're compensating for, extra guys, that's what you're compensating for, for extra guys that are going to be open. So like they blitz and it's the wrong moment and the protection's there for a split second, and Hurts is going to find somebody wide open. So they got to be careful with that too, but they know Hurts is not 100% healthy. So they think they're just going to put pressure on him and try to get him down as much as possible. And hopefully, if he gets hit a little bit too much, then they have to make some adjustments and figure it out and get this run game going or something. I don't know. But with Cam Jurgens coming back this week and, getting back to your old ways now with your offensive line's, perfectly healthy this week, I don't see why, you should be able to take care of everybody. So
it looks like we're at like 12%.
12?
Yeah.
That's low.
Because the Cowboys are at 28%.
For 8 games in, 12%. That's that's
low.
I think Desai in 21, I think with that defense, he was like 22.6 for the year.
You think he's getting comfortable maybe?
Sometimes, yeah. There's point. Sometimes it's just you're just going to rush. That's why I don't want to happen. I don't want them to just rush 4 and put too much into that defensive line where you're just rushing 4 guys and that's it.
Now, do you think that it was basically the cards that he was dealt, like with the injuries and everything like that? Do you think that could have played the part of this too?
Yeah, 100%. Like he's like, I believe it. I totally believe it. Yeah, I get it. But you got to take chances, and just because a team blitzes that much, it doesn't mean that some of the highest blitzing teams are not the most successful. Like it does, doesn't. But you gotta do it in crucial moments. Like you got to do it sometimes. And the Eagles have gotten away with blitzing, and usually, even some of the times where Nicholas Marr, you play him downhill, or some of these linebackers play him downhill, they make plays, especially when Jalen Carter is in. Like you could it opens those gaps wide because he's just so disruptive. That's why getting Jalen Carter back this week it's a big deal. It's a huge deal for an important game like this. And then, like I said, like at the end of the day, like the Eagles can get this win. You got like a bye week, which is great. Like then you can go into the bye week, relax, and these players can catch their breath because everybody, doesn't matter what the injury report says, everybody's banged up. Everybody's dealing with something at this point, and for some of the older guys as well.
We are 10th in pressure rate though.
Yeah, we are, because we do get good QB hits.
But imagine where we were at if we were bringing a little bit more pressure.
Right,
we'll be like third, second.
Again, I think they just send in 4. They're not sending 5 like last year. That often, they're not doing that often.
My bad. I got that percentage wrong. It's 14%, not 12. My bad.
Right. Still,
it's 12% on 4th down, and that's what I read. But it's 14% in total. Okay. Still bad. It should be. I think it should be in the 17 to 20 range.
I think it was only 9% last year. It could be wrong, but I thought it was like.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
It was very low.
It was single digit last year. That's how bad it was.
Dang. So the Cowboys, since you said that, the Cowboys are 3rd in pressure rate.
Okay. We're gonna find out. I mean, we're talking about they're playing us. Like that's why I take every week. Like I look at Miami's. I look at all the schedules of all these teams. Like who they face, how good they've played. Like Miami had, I mean, because I'm not into like they had a cupcake schedule. I get it. But I'm like every time I look at someone else's schedule, I'm like, this is the best in the trenches. I said even during that Miami game, I said Miami's good in the trenches, but the Eagles are better on both sides. They're better 100%. And I'm like, they still got to face us though. Like that's because we're that good. We're that deep in defensive line. Our two defensive lines are two. I mean, literally could start for NFL rosters. I mean, it's kind of insane. And your offensive line. I mean, that's how I have to take it. Like they're facing us. I don't care what the stats look like for some of these other teams that just can't protect. They can't get pressure. We know what our issues are regarding the, why we should have more pressure this year. We're not breaking no 70 sack record this year. It ain't going to happen.
No.
That was a historic.
What was our pace last year, though?
Huh?
What was our pace last year through 8 games? Did we have way more than this?
If they didn't have.
We were like close to 40. I think we was close to 40 last year.
If they didn't have Hassan Reddick in coverage last year early in the season, like if there was some things they just could have just been a little bit more aggressive last year, like that was a historic defense last year. That was just, man, I'm just so disgusted at Gannon having control of this personnel last year and what he did between the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl and the illegal tampering and not even wrapping his mind around the more important thing, which was coaching this damn team to win a championship. And, it just didn't go our way, unfortunately. So
16, 17.
Where we at? 146.
26. We were at 29 last year through week 8. So we still can make it, but we had like I'm looking at the games after that. It was like 4, 3, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7. Like we went on a crazy streak. Yeah,
dude. I mean, it's you have like four defensive linemen with double-digit sacks. It's a crazy year, dude. It's a crazy year. You don't get rosters like that too often.
You don't. So last year I didn't know we sacked Dak that much. Be nice to get at him again that much. We had 6 sacks on Dak last year.
That was at AT&T too.
Yeah, that was in AT&T.
Yeah, because he ain't played when he came to the Link. That was Cooper Rush.
And we had no sacks on Cooper.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think it's gonna be a good game. I'm ready for Sunday. I know all the people that's here ready for Sunday. They say we're not a rival, man. They say it's not a rivalry. I got argued down, Joey. Look, the man said he been watching the Eagles for 35 years, right? He told me his memory told him that all they did was stomp us out. So I said, if I look up the record, it's gonna be slanted your way. He said, yeah. It was 39-40. They haven't been stomping us out when they was winning Super Bowl. They wasn't stomping us out. Like, I don't get where they get it from, but I know they're up 18, but those 18 had to come from the 70s or something, bro. They didn't come from the last 35 years. It's an even matchup. They play us well. We play them well. I think Sunday, if they can't stop Swift, though, it's going to get ugly.
If they can't stop Swift, they can't stop A.J. Brown, they can't get pressure on Hurts. They're done. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Over.
Well, I appreciate you for coming out, Joey. You got anything coming up this week, man, that we could tune into?
Just doing videos. I'll have a stream on Friday, and then obviously the shakedown stuff for Saturday, Sunday, post game, all that stuff.
Y'all got some big people on Saturday, right?
Huh?
Y'all got a special guest Saturday, don't you?
I don't. We had a special guest last week.
Cole. Isn't Cole coming on Saturday for y'all?
Who said that?
That's what he told me, that y'all had invited him on.
I didn't hear a damn word. All I heard Cole say was, I'm coming on the shakedown. I was like, nah, I didn't hear any. I didn't get a text, so I don't know.
Yeah, he was telling me like, yeah, I'm going on the shakedown, man. This is gonna be it.
The only answer I had was, why didn't he want to come on the other weeks? It's like, this week is the only week he want to come on.
Because he quote unquote said he's not interacting with Eagle fans, but every time I turn to your page, I see Eagle posts. I don't get it. You said this is not a rivalry. I'm not talking to Eagle fans this week. Every time I turn on Twitter and I reload my thing, the first thing up there is Cole talking to an Eagle fan.
What?
Like y'all want to downplay the game as much as you want. As much as you want. You could downplay it. It don't count. It don't matter. The Eagles are irrelevant. Guess what? When we beat you, we take another game lead in the division. We take another step closer to the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And then we take another step closer to sweeping you this year, which is something I really want to do. Like the Commanders felt so good. Because all year
we ended them. We ended that roster. We completely ended that.
That's what I was going to say earlier. You know what I'm really mad about? We got the best Commanders 2 times in a row, and now the rest of the division gonna get a hobbled team with no edge rushers. You traded both of your edge rushers that you had all year. You traded them out. So obviously your morale on the team is we're selling, which Josh Harris is known for doing anyways. He likes to sell, and then he likes to bring in his own guys, to slowly rebuild, trust the process. Cool. But everybody else is going to get a lackluster team. Everybody else is going to get Sam Howell having to do everything with no pass rush because they already didn't really have a pass rush. Now you get rid of both of your best pass rushers. You give them. I didn't even understand this, and y'all can tell me if I'm crazy. You sent both of them in the division. I mean, in the conference. Like you sent one to the Seahawks, and you sent the other one to the 49ers.
Yeah, well, no, he went. No, Montez went to the Bears. Like
Bears.
I don't know why the Bears are buying. Or I don't get. They could have 2 back-to-back first-round picks. They got the Panthers first-round pick too. So why are you trying to put money? I mean, why are you going to try to re-sign? I mean, you're obviously signing Montez Sweat to re-sign him next year, and Chase Young is just luxury. For the 49ers, the 49ers just have to add, and make themselves on the news or whatever. A team's lost 3 straight games already, and I hope they still lose. I think they're on a bye week this week, so I don't think they're playing this week. But I think they just want value. They got to take.
Yeah, they're not. They're on the bye. They're on the bye.
They go after this. They go to Jacksonville.
That's gonna be and they're playing. They've won 4 straight, and they're playing really well right now.
So, shout out to Dougie P, man.
Hell yeah.
He got me this on my wall. I love Dougie. Man. I love Dougie. If I ever see him, I stay in Florida. So if I ever get to a Jacksonville game, I'm gonna take my poster. I'm gonna try to run into Dougie P and be like, look, your only Super Bowl so far.
He'll
sign it for me.
I don't see why not. He won't.
Yeah, he would.
I know he a good dude. Like you could tell.
Washington couldn't get picky on what team to trade, and they're trying to get picks at the end of the day. So they can't be, because if they start getting real picky about who they're trading their players to because they don't want them in the same conference, then they're not going to get the same compensation. So if you get a 2nd-round pick for Montez Sweat, who cares? You get a 3rd-round pick for 49ers gave a 3rd-round pick. That's a good trade. That was really good.
So what they got? I think they got 1 first, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. You could easily convert a 2nd and 3rd and something else into another first if you wanted to.
Eagles, we ended up trading KingDv Street. So we got the 6th-round pick back that we gave away for Byard next year because they gave away 5th, 6th-round picks, whatever, for 24. So you get that pick back, and I'm figuring with Street being traded, did he need to be traded? I don't know. So now I'm starting to figure out are they going to play Nolan Smith more? He's only got 9%.
Yeah, right.
Of the snaps he's playing. Patrick Johnson's got 0. You know what I mean?
I was asking myself, are they going to up Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter's snaps?
I think if Derek Barnett has 20% of the snaps and Nolan Smith only has 9,
he should have no snaps, 0 snaps.
2 tackles, 2 tackles for the season. That's it.
See, every time that dude name get brought up, I have to roll down the Rolodex. I gotta play the clip, DV. I gotta play the clip. I can't not play
free play. A free play for Wilson. Dancing in the pocket. Over the middle. He's got Garrett.
Does nothing. does absolutely
horrible.
The good thing he hasn't been as a knucklehead this year. It's really all
and he played at him. I think he wanted to make him mad. He was like, "Oh, he on the ground. Like, look at him. Like, what? Listen. Okay, you didn't get a trade for Barnett. His cap hit isn't crazy. Why not just cut him?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like all I know is going to be off this team after this year. I figured like maybe he would, like if he's got no value, then you can't really trade him for a pick straight up. If he's got no value, like what are you going to trade him for? So I figured, put him in a package deal, sweeten the deal with him. It's just an extra body, just a player you want to get rid of.
You could attack team him on Catavia Street. Be like, we don't even need any extra compensation. We don't. Yeah. You can just give us a 6. You got both of them.
I mean, I don't know what the health stats of Nolan Smith, why he's getting fewer reps than, it's not enough, but he's done more than Derek Barnett has. I mean, Derek Barnett, I think in 15 games hasn't had a quarterback hit yet. His last 15 games played. I mean, it's that bad. It's pretty bad.
Nah, hit, man. He didn't trip. Dude ran into a brick house and was like, oh, God, and fell on the ground. He didn't even try to get up. And then when he got up, he was just looking like, oh, it's a play going on. He playing patty cake, man. Dude need to be somewhere frying French fries at McDonald's. Like, what's going on here? Listen. When Joey and Philly got hot about him coming back, I was in the same boat. Like, why the fuck did we sign Barnett?
Yeah, that was a weird ass day. That was a weird
loyalty.
Because you got a fumble in the Super Bowl. You haven't done anything since that Super Bowl that I can relevantly go.
It was like another feather in Howie's cap. It was like, I just re-signed my first round pick. Like that's what it like. It makes you look good when you can re-sign your first round picks. But I've been done with Barnett since really his second year. I mean, it's been
so 2019.
I mean, he's been either hurt or he can't stay healthy, or I mean, he's a bust at the end of the day. I mean, that's just it. I mean, he did well for us his rookie year. The next year he didn't do too bad, but he's fell off. I forgot he was on the team this year half the time. I totally forgot when we actually extended him. Like it was just out of the fluke. Like me and Philly he jumped on with me during free agency stream, and we were just talking, and then it was just weird how it happened. And then I was
there that day, and you were like, they just extended Barnett, and Philly 500 flipped out. He was like, what? No, bro.
I wanted to go after like Frank Clark, Jadeveon Clowney, Leonard Floyd, all these. There were so many other defenders. Yankton Ngakoue was like probably the perfect fit here, and he's wanted to come here for so damn long since he's been with the Jags. So I mean, I said, why not just bring him here? Like it doesn't hurt. I was like, better than Derek Barnett. Like shit, I want somewhat of a change. But
do you think that I don't know. I've never been in the NFL locker room to say, but do you think people in the locker room like go to Howie like, man, Barnett looking good, man, don't cut him? Because I heard people saying it. I heard like Darius Slay saying like, my boy Barnett ready for a breakout season. Like,
no, I mean, I think it's just no. I mean,
you think it's just Howie?
I mean, when players talk about other players, they're not gonna like it's the same thing as like coaches talking about players. They're not going to tell.
Well, in public, but in the meetings with Howie, they would be like, hey, he's probably the weakest link.
But I don't think watching. But I don't think
it's almost like that.
Yeah, but I don't think it makes you look good either going into the GM by yourself and talking shit about a player. I mean, that doesn't make you look good either, even if it's true. Like Barnett sucks, get him off, please. Like, I think it makes you look bad. Like just going in by yourself, tattling and shit.
Hey, Eagles landed. That would be really sad. They gave up a second round pick, and then that man don't re-sign with them.
That's crazy.
That would be such a hurt, bro. A second round pick for a rental to a team that's not making the playoffs.
It makes no sense why they.
I didn't get that. Move. But then, then they kept Jalen Johnson because you brought in Montez Sweat. Like I was like, what? Like why did first off
they got a shot at the wild card? They probably got a shot at the wild card. It ain't mine.
Were they 2 and what? They got 2 wins or 3 wins? 2?
I think so. I think it's 2.
They got 2 wins, man. The
2 and 6.
And they don't even know when they starting quarterback coming back. Like
I haven't followed the Bears too much this year. Besides,
yeah. I forgot he was hurt.
Yeah, Justin Fields out. So you got Tyson Bagnet, A D3
Never mind. I don't know why they did
UDFA?
this. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would you be buying?
The Bears
I think they're 2-6.
They're 2-6.
Yeah. So why are you buying?
I don't know.
That's like the Carolina Panthers trading for like a wide receiver at this point. Like you're 1-6, like you're 1-7. Like you're not going to the playoffs. Well, maybe the NFC South. I've seen them have a 7-win team in the playoffs, so it's possible. I mean, I didn't get it. Yeah, man. But we appreciate it. We appreciate all y'all, man, for coming out. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 hours. I got my show Saturday. Hey, if anybody play parlays, you like college football, you like the NFL, Saturday, 10 a.m. It's me and 4 of my other guys, man. We're gonna be on there. Come out here and try to get you some money, man. We've been pretty good. We had some people hit for some money last week, so you know, we just trying to help people out, man. Free money for everybody. So I mean, it's cool if you can come out here and take some of these picks and get some free money. And you ain't got to go in there and look at the app and stress your brain. We can stress for you. You know what I mean? So what you got coming up, DV? You know, before we get up out of here.
So I do got a special announcement coming up. Tomorrow. I think it's going to be tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Whoever subscribed to me. Also, we're doing the pregame show on Sunday. I am doing that again with Eagles Elite. So, you know, just stay tuned for that. Just hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then also we got the pregame with Cool Cat, the aftermath after the game. So, you know, stay tuned for that as well. I think Cool Cat is going to the game. So he might be shooting on his way home. So, you know, just stay tuned for everything, man. But, you know, as always, fly equals fly. We just gotta get out here to win, go 8-1, be 3-0 in the division.
Yes.
Going to this bye week, getting healthy, getting better, and then just take care of this home stretch.
Hey, Joey, if you ever need somebody to live stream with you, you know what I mean, on a play-by-play, you know, you can always hit me, bro. I'll come through. I know it's boring to be on there sometimes by yourself. I'll come through and chill out with you.
Yeah, no, I had an issue like last week, like Sunday Ticket, and it was happening everywhere. It wasn't just me. Sunday Ticket, well, because you know I'm in New York, so I don't get every Philly game. So like Sunday Ticket was buffering like crazy, and it was screwing everybody up, and it was like really annoying. So it was hard for me to even watch the game last week. But yeah, I'm usually at my girl's house, and like we're just watching this stuff. Yeah, I because I'm not really a big like. I usually like to stream with other people more than be by myself all the time. Like I don't mind it sometimes, but sometimes I like to have a counterpart. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, it's a busy. I mean, usually my days are just busy like crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely keep that in mind, no doubt.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like the play-by-plays. You know, I liked it. I liked it last week. We did it with Big Simple and Awesomeness Sports. It was fun. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, Simple, if you watch it, I know you be watching, you'll be commenting. It was fun to watch them melt down after the game.
I saw his I saw his video. It was actually pretty funny.
Like to watch them melt. It was funny. like I was in that. I mean, 3 years ago, we was in that boat.
Mm-hmm.
We was 4-12. We was like melting down all over the place. Like, is our team finna be bad for the next 5? But we good.
Get it.
Appreciate all y'all for coming out, man. Y'all stuck it out, kept it consistent, man. We appreciate all the questions. I know I didn't get to the chat like I wanted to today, but I wanted to get through a few things because, you know, I want some different insight. I talk to DV every week, you know, to have somebody here that does what we do at a higher level than we do it right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. So I appreciate that, Joey.
Yeah, maybe we'll do maybe we'll get, you know, we'll maybe do like we'll have you know, maybe Philly can come on. We could both come on one day or something. We could, you know, maybe both jump on or something. We do that.
Yeah. But until next time, man, y'all know what it is. Go Birds.
Birds.
But to tell me I came out with DeAndre Swift over Bijan,
Jordan Davis, because, you know, still play the same